How do you do, G-Pod crew? It's your nutty buddy Putty here, and today we are reviewing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And boy, do I have a lot to discuss, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to make this brief. It is now 10:32 at night. I probably won't get done with this until about 11:30, get to bed about 12, because I got to grab a shower, and then up for the work in the morning. So, a lot to go through. Oh, yeah, and here's my Spider-Verse cut. Yes, guys, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse upped the ante when it came to animation. Character development might not be as great, but seeing all the fan favorite Spider-Mans within this movie is a dream to behold. Every single one that I was looking for that I enjoyed, I saw. They happened quickly. Like one of my favorites, which I'll just say he's in the background. My loyal viewers and fans know he's my favorite version of Spider-Man. And I saw him. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say how many times I saw him or if I even saw him at all. Anyway, my point to the whole thing is this movie is colossal. And here's my thing. I didn't even dig deep into the cuts when it comes to it, but just so you guys see quick, that is my list of just all the stuff that I found through it. Now, here's my thing. I feel like there might have been some times that things were pushed when it comes to animation, because I feel like because the other movie did so well when it came to animation and won the award for Best Animated Movie, that they're trying to push the envelope again. And that clearly is the point here. They're trying to push the envelope, but in a good way. There are some points, especially during the Gwen moments, that's all I'm going to say, that I don't understand her space. Trying not to spoil anything, but I don't understand her space. I like it, but at the same time, in my eyes, it just doesn't make sense. And for those that see the movie, they'll understand where I'm coming from. Even if it is a visual art, it's just a matter of, does it work with the scenario? And I think it does, but at the same time, it takes another thing out of place that I want to talk about later when I get into some spoilers, which I am going to go over spoilers, but it's going to be very quick. No images on the screen. I don't have the time to do that kind of stuff like I used to edit, and one day I will, especially when things like this pick up. But here at G-Pod Reviews, I want to make sure that at least when I go over this stuff, I go over what I found and how it meant to me. And boy, the cameos, the things in this are amazing. Is it better than the first one? I like it better than the first one. I think the first one 100% complements this. I feel like there's an understanding how the first and the second one was because of one reason. And there's another movies that I can compare it to that I'm going to use as an analogy later. And a lot of my viewers love my analogies. But I think this is going to be a good analogy that I'm going to bring up later. So with that being said, I'm only like 3 minutes into the video. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. Maybe even more, but this is definitely a great movie. Actually, no, if I gave the first one, let's say if I gave the first one 10 out of 10, this would probably be, well, if I got the first one 9 out of 10, this would be 10 out of 10. But then I don't know. That's hard. Like, it really is hard and gripping because this movie right here, this movie up here, is a very enjoyable ride. And I didn't realize that 2 hours and 20 minutes flew by that fast. And then when you get to the end, it's like, I just want more. I want more. I didn't realize this movie was already 2 hours and 20 minutes into it. So for some people, maybe it does, but I guess for me, it wasn't. And so it went by quickly. And then the ending made me go, oh, I want more. And if you've seen the movie, when when I get to the spoilers, you'll understand why I say that. So I'm very, very generous. This is a 9 out of 10. I mean, I would even go as to say maybe even close to 10. I mean, maybe not, but it's a 9 out of 10. I'm giving it big numbers. I don't give a crap if other people don't agree with me. That is fine. I enjoyed this movie. Walking in, I got excited. Watching it, I got excited. Throughout the whole movie, I was excited to see things here and there. Just the pure emotion. Like, I wasn't crying. It wasn't an emotion that way, but I was just in the story. Now, I will say, I feel like as far as driven storylines for a character, the first one, Miles definitely pushes a lot better than that. But this one just takes on a more archaic feel, and I'm okay with that. But I think it's based on how everything is being set up, and I want to not really go deep into that until you guys have seen it. So with that, I'm still going to say I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Also, at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and say spoilers, because I am going to be spoiling a lot of crap. And I will be going through this list and basically just going through it all the way down. But before I do that, spoiler alert ahead. Spoilers over here. I'm putting them over here. I don't know. I'm putting them somewhere. They're up there. Spoilers across the screen. Somewhere, okay? But anyway, so now that we're in spoiler territory, I want to say this. I feel like this could be the Spider-Verse Empire Strikes Back. So if you know that Beyond the Spider-Verse is the next part and we ended on a cliffhanger just like Empire Strikes Back did, but would this be as good as Empire and better than the first? And I feel like it does. The first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, feels like A New Hope. It has an ending that just feels right. It's right at that moment. Everyone got back to their planet, or their areas, and and I think that's why they made the movie the way they did. They said, we're going to make it to where it's one contained movie and then open up for a sequel. Because of the success of Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse are now doing exactly what they did with A New Hope and, with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, making both movies back to back and ending it on a cliffhanger. That's what they're doing here, and honestly, I think it's a great idea. The cliffhanger of leaving Miles Morales with the Prowler version of Miles Morales is epic. And then seeing the whole team from the original movie and the new team and the team from this movie all together now as one team is an epic. Spider-Bite is in there, Spider-Ham. There's a new version of Miko now that's in there. There's like a very big core audience that is going to be great. But then, I mean, here's my thing. When it comes to Spider-Man 2099, he holds one of my favorite characters, which is the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And for those that don't know the Ben Reilly Spider-Man run, you will love it. And you probably even loved him in the movie with his little jokes, like when he was actually narrating his own thing. That is a great thing that he did in humor of the comics. Ben Reilly, I think they did a good job. I think they did fan service to him, and he did great. Like when he was perched on the building, he's like, I'm perching here on the building. I was like, this is great. I love Ben Reilly. He is now my favorite. I mean, well, he's always my favorite, but he's now probably my favorite over, well, this guy over here. That is Bagman. So if you look in the movie, for those that didn't see, you actually see him twice. The first time he's hanging out when they show the Spider-Verse, and then the second time is when they're chasing down Miles. You quickly see him. They don't give Bagman enough exposure, and I get it. A lot of people are going to see this and go, who the hell is that? This is Spider-Man as the Fantastic Four character, Bagman, because he didn't have an outfit to be part of the Fantastic Four, so they just gave him an outfit and put a bag over his head. Enough said. My point to the whole thing is this. I'm just going to throw this over here. The point to the whole thing is this. There's so many Easter eggs in this that it was so hard for me to keep up, so I'm just going to list everything that I saw that I feel was an Easter egg or fun little tip or just in general. And then I know I've missed tons. There's probably hundreds of things. And I know New Rockstar is probably going to do a video. I know that, a lot of other ones are going to do videos. I don't have the time for it. So I'm just going to list these here now before New Rockstars gets out there. And you can say, hey, at least Putty noticed these before New Rockstar did and made their video, which they probably already had 20 people watching the movie writing down stuff. But anyway, starting from the top, we get the Comic Codes Authority logo. So for those that aren't aware, and I think they still use it, I'm not sure, I haven't looked at my comic books, but they have this Comic Code Authority, and you actually see it at the beginning, which I don't know if that was just for fun. I don't know what the whole thing is. Then you hear Gwen's drum solo shows a narrator box. Now, this happened a lot. If you notice in the corner, not a narrator box, but a information box. If you noticed, a lot of times when you're watching, they show a Spider-Man, they'd have a little box, or they would say meanwhile, or they show, like, whenever they said something, like, for example, at one point they said the hammer, where is it? The hammer, I can't find it. They were talking about the which was the little box, the hammer space, the narrator box that was in the corner with the bang saber. That is actually, those are boxes are used to tell you whenever they're referencing another comic, whenever they're referencing another power or anything that you may not be aware of. So people that aren't aware of that world can be filled in. And I did that a lot. And a lot of people are not probably understand why those flash so quickly and why they exist. I've been waiting for them to do that. And I want Deadpool to have the narrator box too, or the information box, and the mental box. So my point to the whole thing is that was amazing. That right there was a nice little added addition that was a really key thing. Next, we have Gwen's Peter Parker is the Lizard, which I like that. So apparently he got the serum from Dr. Connors, which of course that makes sense. Dr. Connors and Parker do have a really close relationship in school, being his teacher. So that's pretty cool to see that. Vulture fights in a Renaissance version. I've never seen that before, so if that's in the comic book, someone tell me. Spider-Man 2099 takes down Vulture. That just made me happy just to see Spider-Man 2099. A Spider-Woman on her bike. The Spot robbing the ATM. Those are great little things. Now, I love how the Spot, when he finally learns he can go to other parts, the first one he goes is to like the old traditional comic book. I love that they're using these old art forms to really work on this, especially for someone that like me that's basically been reading these art forms for years now or watching the cartoons. Then we get into the Spot joins the Lego Spider-Man universe, and oh my god, this is when things start going downhill. But okay, so there's several things that I had. Okay, so you probably saw live action parts. If you remember, there's a point where Spot goes in and talks to this old lady that's at a counter. A lot of people are either going to remember or forget this. Okay, that is the clerk from Venom. If you remember in Venom, she's actually talking to him, and eventually he actually reveals that he is the symbiote Venom and talks to her and everything. So she's the really cool clerk, and that's who Spot's talking to. Then we're going to get another one cameo, which is probably bigger. But we get Armadillo on the train tracks. If you remember, the train tracks stop. The Armadillo's there. We get the India version of Spider-Man. We also have Spider-Punk. When I saw Spider-Punk, I freaked out. I love Spider-Punk. Ben Reilly, of course, leaning on the wall and being him, which we already went through Ben Reilly. Then, God, my whole heart when they said that. I'm a huge, huge fan of Donald Glover and Childish Gambino, and just the man, the kid, he's doing greatness. You know what I mean? And I've actually like talked to him, not met him, but talked to him online. It's a long story. It was a cool moment and everything. This is back before he's popular and everything. Like I actually I was a big fan of his YouTube channel back in the day when it was first created, and so I actually got to interact with him, not even thinking he was gonna be a big star, just thinking, oh, just a YouTuber that I look up to. You know what I mean? Anyway, which I guarantee he doesn't remember me, so it's not even here nor there. But the reason that's a big deal is if you saw him, there's actually a deleted scene in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie where Donald Glover plays the uncle to Miles Morales, aka Prowler. So they actually paid that off finally in Spider-Verse, and it is now canon that Donald Glover is now Prowler. And if you're saying, well, no, because they don't have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, yeah. Did you not see those scenes where they showed Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire? All of those are in the Spider-Verse, which means everything. Okay, so this is why I got to go into this. We had Spider-Bite. We had Bagman several times, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, MTV Spider-Man. The pointing meme happened, Spider-Cat. The Chibi Spider-Man, Rex Spider-Man, of course, Bagman again, the OG Spider-Man from the old cartoon, the spectacular Ben Reilly Spider-Man, the animated series Spider-Man. There was the video game version of Spider-Man. There was the PlayStation 1 version of Spider-Man there. Like, there were so many different. They literally they basically said, we're just going to do every animation you can think of. If it was video game related, we're going to put in there. Every single bit of animation is in this sucker. And then the movie ends with, of course, Miles Morales being captured by himself and his uncle, the new Miles Morales is Prowler, and then it ends. Well, I should have told people at the beginning of this video not to stay for the end screen, but I figured everyone should stay and try to see if it's going to happen, just like I did. We didn't get an end screen, we didn't even get a mid screen. The mid screen was Miles Morales will return and Beyond the Spider-Verse. That's it. I had people in the theater were like deeply disappointed when they saw Aw, and they walked away, not realizing this is Sony. This isn't the MCU. They don't do end screens like that. I mean, I can't say that because they did do an end screen in the first movie, which introduced Spider-Man 2099 to making this movie. Listen, guys, I had a joy watching this movie. These Easter eggs are aplenty, guys, and I tried to keep track of missing things just so I can get these little Easter eggs or things I saw as far as the characters. And as far as the list of Spider-Mans I put in here, there's way more that you see. Like, I remember seeing some, I'm like, oh my god, like the Galaxy version of Spider-Man, like every single Spider-Man that I've seen, I was like, oh my god. Like, I was trying to trace my head, like, where did I see him? So your brain, if you've read a lot of Spider-Man comics, watched a lot of Spider-Man cartoons, played a lot of Spider-Man games, your brain is going to go all over the freaking place. When you get to the Spider-Verse, my eyes were going crazy. But of course, for me, I was like, oh no, I got to look for Bagman. That's why I was able to find him twice in the movie. You can find him twice. I found him twice. There might be more times. Is there other versions of this guy? No. Is there other versions of Spider-Man? Oh my God. How did the animators do this? This had to be hours upon hours of just animation and those little spots. And then for them to be so intricate, to be like, it has to look just like the version. It can't be like, ooh, this is the video game version, but we smoothed out the polygons. No, motherfucker, they kept the polygons and everything in there. And yes, I did cuss, but I had to just put the point to that. It's amazing. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is in my eyes, and I told you guys earlier I would make this reference. It is. I think if the next movie isn't as good as this one, this clearly could be the Empire Strikes Back of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Spider-Verse movies. This could be the Empire Strikes Back. If the new movie is better than this, then this is definitely not Empire. This is Return of the Jedi. But my point to, well, would it be A New Hope, I guess? Because Return of the Jedi would be, I don't know, that's kind of hard. My point to the whole thing is this is an amazing trilogy. We now have to wait for a third movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I can't wait no more because I'm going to have to wait and watch this 100 times just so I can look at every single Spider-Man that you see. Like, look at this. Look how many crashed through here. There's so many right there. And that literally is just a small portion of the Spider-Mans they put into this movie. This movie is fun. This movie is enjoyable, and you deserve to treat yourself and go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But of course, if you're watching these Easter eggs and spoilers, then you clearly already watched it, and you know what I'm talking about. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. It's been appreciative. I hope you guys like the new setup with the G-Pot reviews, the little thing on the bottom and everything. If this is the way you guys like it, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're liking it. This is going to upload late. Maybe my other reviews I'll start doing early. But guys, enjoy it. I appreciate y'all watching. And as always, I'm Putty with the G-Pot crew. And you know what we do. We do reviews of Spider-Man and other things too. The next one is not next weekend, but on the 15th, The Flash. Are you guys going to be there? You better be quick because you know how fast The Flash is. I'll see you guys in that review. Peace.
This a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And this a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma.